Now, still ahead, an exclusive interview with the sex scandal couple the whole world wants to talk to.
It's nobody's business what I do in the privacy of this man's home.
A neighbor made it his business when he taped Al and Janet's passionate indoor encounter.
She was on his shoulders and he was on his knees.
Now Al and Janet are fighting back. That's next. Ever since Janet Paddock and Al Stevens made headlines with a sex, lies, and videotape scandal, the whole world's been after them to tell their story. Well, now they have, exclusively to A Current Affair. Steve Dunleavy reports on the case that some are calling Leer Window.
Sex behind the mini blind, making love in the bathroom, gonna have you doing hard time.
This man says it was outrageous sex.
It was pretty much like watching a XXX movie.
This man says it's all lies.
Somebody watching us in the privacy of our own home, whether it be in the act of making love or, for that matter, in the kitchen cooking dinner.
One thing we know, it's all on videotape.
I filmed from, I guess, right about here, into the window.
You know, it's funny the lengths that people will go to just to get a video picture to show you. Peeping through the hedges, creeping in their tennis shoes, hoping to get a shot to get some on the news.
It is, after all, allegations of sex, lies, and videotape. Real life.
I saw the girl getting on the back and jumping on his back. They were doing pony rides.
For Lee Adler of Tampa, Florida, that's all he needed.
Yeah, he was completely naked and she had a lace top on and the rest was naked.
In another era, it was strictly out of the perennial Alfred Hitchcock blockbuster movie, Rear Window. A man sees lovemaking in a neighbor's window, and it ends in murder. And this Rear Window escapade in Tampa, Florida, ended in murder. Everybody crying, blue, bloody murder.
I filmed from, I guess, right about here, into the window. The kids were playing in the shallow end, and they got perfect view of what was going on.
What was going on, according to Lee Adler, the Rear Window cameraman, and according to allegations from the Tampa Sheriff's Department, was that Al Stevens and his girlfriend, Janet Paddock, were making love in their bathroom.
We were both flabbergasted to find out that somebody had gotten a videotape of us through the bathroom window. And, you know, of course, then what's unfolded since has been nothing short of destroying our lives.
But Lee Adler alleges that Al Stevens and his girlfriend, Janet Paddock, are destroying his life by performing lovemaking in full view of the neighbors.
What happened to the days when you tried to get along with the folks that were your neighbors when you felt like you were wrong?
She was on the counter, then she was on his shoulders, and he was on his knees, and they were just constantly, every 30 seconds, every minute, moving around, doing something different. Kind of like playing to a camera.
Now, it was Lee Adler that held that camera in his hand. He shot through these blinds to prove that Al Stevens and Janet Paddock did not only take center stage in their own steamy drama, but demanded an audience, too.
The kids were running back and forth, and we couldn't keep them away from the window. They wanted to see what was going on.
But what was going on, according to State Attorney Henry Lavandera, has resulted in 3 counts of disorderly conduct and something else.
If there was such a crime as being a jerk in public, this might well define it. These people were just conducting themselves in a manner where they were just being obnoxious to people around them.
1 minute making magic, then you're making license plates, 'cause priorities are twisted here in these United States.
The elusive couple, who were allegedly obnoxious, spoke exclusively to A Current Affair, as they ignored reporters all over the country and as far away as England and Japan. They took us on a guided tour where the alleged outrage happened.
This is the bathroom, the bathroom and vanity area. The vanity area is where we were allegedly doing what we've been accused of doing. If you stand here and peer out the window in the dark with these lights on as they are and as they were, you cannot see anything outside except for a globe light on the far side of the pool.
I would have never continued. If I did see a video camera, I would have been quite irate and mentioned it to Al. Hey, there's somebody out there. It's nobody's business what I do in the privacy of this man's home.
On the tape, it shows her coming right to the window, looking right into the camera. I mean, smack view into the camera. And then she started laughing.
We now had the radio on, but we were interested in ourselves. As selfish as it is, we were interested in nothing or nobody else.
If you're gonna make an issue, better leave this one alone. It's a natural situation when a couple's home alone.
We hadn't seen each other for a day or two, and it was a premeditated meeting, and we got together and had fun. And unfortunately, somebody took it upon themselves to exploit that and ultimately ruin our lives over it.
They were performing all sorts of sexual acts, carrying on a little bit, I guess, kind of overdoing it.
Neighbors. They could have been the best of friends. Now, they're the best of enemies.
I think that the gentleman was aroused enough over the situation to run home and get his video camera, rather than coming to the door and knocking on the door if it indeed was a problem.
Lee Adler says it was an outrage to the innocent eyes of over-curious kids. Al Stevens says it was an outrage to be treated as a common criminal.
After reviewing the tape at, evidently, Mr. Adler's home, they determined that they were going to arrest us. They came right in here, handcuffed us, and took us out. And the beginning of a nightmare.
Stevens and Paddock were in an outdoor hot tub when a sheriff's deputy approached them and announced they had been on a very candid camera, and they weren't smiling.
Suddenly, things turned very serious, and we spent, of course, the night in jail, and the next day we find out, my God, the consequences of this are unbelievable. We spent a good many hours trying to figure out what it was we have done wrong.
Nothing's quite as tragic as the victim of no crime, just sex behind the mini blinds.
Nick Matassini, lawyer for the stars of the videotape, thinks it's the rear window cameraman who's at fault.
We've got Peeping Tom intruding on people in the most, just intimate things that people do with each other.
They were performing all sorts of sexual acts.
Just sex behind the mini blinds, yeah, sex behind the mini blinds.
Well, it's a cute song, but Janet and Al will soon be listening to some different music, The Wedding March. Al proposed to Janet yesterday, and she said yes. Meanwhile, the sequel to their home movie will run in September when the couple has their day in court.